My friends and shareholders in public education, I do trust that you know that you are a shareholder. Whether you like it or not, we all are taxpayers and taxpayers pays for public education. Therefore, you are a shareholder. And so I welcome you back to another session of Straight Talk in Room 503. I am your host, Morris Merriweather, and also the author of Enough is Enough. Public education has spiraled out of control. As I normally begin my session, we talk about what's going on in my hometown. And over again, I tell you what is going on in my hometown. It's also going on in your hometown on a smaller, larger scale. And the players are different, but the same action and same results. You know, we're talking about closing schools in my hometown. And my question is, where was these smart people? Doctors, lawyers, pastors, engineers, stockholders, shareholders, business-minded, civic clubs, chamber of commerce people, people who they think are much smarter than I am. And I don't consider myself to be the sharpest knife in the drawer. But at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, I am on target. Listen to this. Our school system is made up in my hometown of over 17,000 students. We now have 12,000 students. That means that 5,000 students have walked away from our public education. Where did they go? In the broad open daylight, not after dark. They left and went to private schools, academies, to surrounding counties. That's why the previous superintendent said that they're going to have to build walls to keep Madison County students out of their county school system and city school system. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a serious problem. I'm just wondering why it's no one doing any talking. There is just hush hush around my hometown. There's no meetings. No one's talking about it. Now, just this week when they started talking about school closing, then I attended the board meeting, and then you see poor little kids, the parents got them holding sign. Save my school. You see other people. Save my school. Save my school. Why didn't we make this holler when those students started leaving our school system? Says, why are they leaving? Is our school system inferior to the other schools? What's going on? Not one organization, one businessman's, chamber of commerce, ministerial house. Nobody said anything. Ministers kept preaching. Chamber kept getting the industries here. Mayors and executives and board members and county commission. Everybody had business as usual. Now 5,000 students have left our school system and they're not coming back. Not only are they closing schools in my hometown, they're closing them in Chicago, Illinois. Mary Emanuel. 12 schools have closed in Chicago. The same as here. Mary Emanuel said this here. It will save resources and make public school system better. Well, it may very well do that in the long run. But ladies and gentlemen, that is not the real reason they're closing school. They're closing school because it's not a priority. And our good citizens of different cities, Utah, California, Texas, they are allowing public education to go down and ladies and gentlemen, it is a sad day. It is a sad day in public education. I believe in public education. I trust that you will get interested in and believe in it as well. But anyway, we're going to come back and talk with you again in our second session. So stay with us. We'll be right back. My fellow friends and shareholders, we're so glad that you're back in room 503. We're going to conclude this session and want to talk with you. Got a few notes here I just kind of jotted down because things keep coming in my mind about public education. And I usually get a paper and a pencil and pen and write it down. The last part of this session, I want to call this session of Straight Talk in Room 503, We Need a Change. It is time for a change. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been time for a change in public education. Changes are good. So let me just kind of run through some of the notes I got here. Sometimes it appears that changes is negative and you don't want to change it. But sometimes we have to have negative influence in order to get positive influence. Things sometimes when we get ready to change, they're negative, but they later changed to positives. Changes, as I said, is good, and it's just good to have changes. God did so the same. He did the same thing. He didn't have the same thing happening all the time. He did different things. So if God, being He is Almighty, and He had changes, why we can't have changes in public education? Sometimes people just don't want to. Well, we've been doing this, Mr. Merriweather, like this for years. Well, in that season, it was good. But this is a new season, new time. The students are different. Our mind thoughts are different. The resources are different. The finances is different. Then why are we trying to do the same thing and things have changed? It is time to move on. It is just time that we wake up and that we see things for what they really are. Let me do another thing here. Some people just want to keep things just like it was. They said it, oh, Mr. Merriweather, this is different. In the good old days, we did this. Well, my friends, the good old days have come and gone. And it's a time for a new change. Our students deserve the best. We can't continue to close schools and not offer anything better. When I hear that this will save money, well, if we're saving money, where is the money going? Some young lady, and I assume that she felt that she was very intelligent, she says, well, if we save the money, we can buy computers for all of the students. Ladies and gentlemen, we got kids reading on 4th and 3rd grade level. What do you think they're going to do with the computers? I worked in a college program here in my hometown, and the students were taking the computer. They was looking at everything on the internet that was not appropriate. In fact, it was inappropriate. And they was looking at everything, and I kept wondering, why are they doing it? Why are they not studying? We had a tutorial program in the back. The professors couldn't work with the student because we had a lounge up front, and they was up there laughing and hollering and talking when they should have been doing their work. So when we say we can save money, we can buy computers, first thing is that we got to teach them what to do with the computers. We got to make sure that computer is an instrument, a tool that will further their education. Just putting a computer in the hands of all. I hear it all over in your hometown as well. Well, all of the students here are going to have computers. How about all of the students having effective teachers? How about all of the students having a school that is conducive to their education? Why not that? Why not have administrators that are going to make sure that the teachers are teaching? Why not have superintendents that are making sure from the Board of Education up that things are going well in all of the schools, not just in some of the schools? So changes are good. If I was going to make some changes, I started with the board. Start with the head. Change some of the board members who are just there for political reasons. Superintendents who have a hidden agenda. County commissioners, elected officials, hidden agenda. And our kids are not getting their education. Ladies and gentlemen, the clock on the wall said that it's time for me to close. Ladies and gentlemen, even an eagle knows when it's time for a change. Now, are we not as smart as an eagle? An eagle will have little eaglets in the nest. At a certain time, the eagle will say it's time for them to learn how to fly. And the eagle will stir up the nest so that the bird will have to leave the nest. And if the bird does not leave the nest, the eagle will even push the bird out of the nest. No mother wants to see her child die. But the mother knows from instinct that it's time for that eagle to fly. So mother will push that little bird out. And the little bird will fall out of the nest and start plunging toward the ground. Mother will wait before the eagle hit the ground, swoop down and get the eagle, carry it back to the nest, stir up the nest again, and keep doing that until the eagle learns to fly. It's time that public education has some stirring up. It's time to kick out some superintendents, kick out some teachers, kick out some principals, kick out some board members, kick out the superintendent, and all of them. It's time for some changes in your hometown as well as mine. Ladies and gentlemen, we must do something different. Public education is tumbling out of control. It has been my pleasure to come to you each week. I look forward to talking to you and dialoguing. Feel free to purchase a copy of my book. Feel free to leave me comments on my website. Please converse with me on whatever area of concern that you have, because unless we dialogue and talk to each other, unless we get busy, this week, all I can hear from, oh, it's the parents' fault. It's the parents' fault. Ladies and gentlemen, we all share in this. It's not only the parents' fault, although the parents is a part of this component that is causing public education to spiral out of control. But parents, we need to have some mandatory laws and rules that will govern parents. If parents are not raising their children, we can make it mandatory through the court system that they attend parenting classes. Until we see results, they will continue. There are some rules that we can do and some laws that we can do that does not cost any money that can change the face of public education. But that is just a percentage of it. In fact, if parents need to be changing, you need to change as well, because public education is not getting any better. So that means we all hold some of the blame. Thank you so much for joining me this week. Again, I'm Morris Merrill, the host of Straight Talk in Room 503. Also the author of Straight Talk. And also the author, we'll finally get it right. Also the author of Enough is Enough. Thank you so very much. Next week I'll try to slow it down a little bit so that I don't get tongue-tied. But I've enjoyed talking to you. Thank you very much, and come back and join me next week. Tell a friend. We'll be back next week.